What's up, and welcome to by the Fifth Podcast. It's your boy Roger Trent. As you know, you could call me Tico. What's up? I'm here with Tiffany Flowers. As always, she's in the house.
Thank you for having me again.
Of course. She's in for this season, and we're trying to get her on for another season. So y'all know how that goes. And look, she's sharp.
Fingers crossed. He'll have me back again.
It's going to be the Tiffany show after a while. Her hair, colors. After a while, people will start watching and be like, "Where's Tiffany? I want to talk to Tiffany."
Well, I will always let you be a guest, okay? Anytime. You will always have a seat on the couch, so you're good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, bet. Oh my gosh. So, Tiffany, I was watching the news and they were talking about a woman in Detroit who left her kids there for years. I think it was 3 years.
I think the article said the last time she actually lived in the home was in 2019. And they just discovered the children February of this year. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, a long time.
Oh my gosh. That is a long time. Like if I were to leave my kids overnight, it would be like, oh, we got more lights.
We have lights.
Oh gosh, but if I were to leave my kids overnight, you know what I mean? Like that would have had me extremely worried. Like, what are they doing in this house?
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking years.
Years, they said. Years. So I don't know how that happens. I'm not even sure, but thank God that someone discovered them when they did. So
is like who's to blame in this? And I know there could be a lot of blame going around, but is it the system? I mean, did the school know that these kids weren't showing up? Where was the family? Did the family not know?
My thought is with the schools, they don't have enough teachers. They don't have enough counselors. So I imagine at some point in time, somebody was following up, trying to check on them. But I think what happens a lot of times, too, is say if a family moves and they don't update the school with a new address, they'll keep going to that same address. Okay. And then after so many times, if no one's there, you know, they stop contact. So that's what I guess probably happened.
Okay.
While they were in school, they were at one address, and then she probably moved and never updated the school. So they just fell through the cracks. So that's my theory. I know that kind of stuff happens, but that's probably where it first started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can see that with schools. I could definitely see that, you know. But like you said, it's shortage of teachers. All kind of stuff.
If we want to go down that,
right? They fight in schools. There's so much going on in them schools.
Yeah.
God bless our teachers, by the way.
Yes, thank you, teachers. Thank you for all you do. Now, what was interesting, the ages of the kids.
Oh yeah.
So I think they said the oldest, the son, was 15. And then there were two girls, I think they were like preteens. And then there was a fourth child also. But I think the article said that child went to go live with another family member. But the ages of these children is what shocked me. And again, not blaming the children at all. But for the oldest boy, you know, he was 15. How frightened were they not to go outside and to try to contact anybody? That's what was amazing to me, because at 15 years old, you know what daylight looks like. You want to go outside. So that was really concerning reading that part also.
It is. And but that means he would have been there since he was 13, right?
Somewhere around there, yes.
And what led up to that? Okay, because if we're saying she left at 3 years ago, what happened in her life that she said, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back? You know what I mean? What was the environment for those 13 years of that young man's life? You know what I mean? That by the time he got 15, and I'll tell you, at 14, 15, I was still pretty sheltered.
Okay.
Very, 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 very sheltered. 15 was like experiment time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's like, what is out there? Okay.
Yeah.
I came up in a very conservative Christian family. And we weren't allowed to listen to music if it wasn't gospel.
Okay.
We wasn't allowed to stay over nobody's house. It was very strict. was words we couldn't say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we couldn't say the word naked. You know what I mean? I remember there was a song. It was a gospel song, and they were talking, and the song says, "I'm naked. He clothed me." Okay, talking about the Lord.
But it was a gospel
It was a
song.
gospel song.
Oh, okay.
And they said, but I couldn't say it. We had to hum that part. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow. Okay.
He clothed me. So that's how sheltered we were.
Okay.
So I understand that feeling at that age of being so clueless, you know what I mean, just going out into the world, you know, and still feeling so young.
Yeah.
Although there were kids my age who were way more advanced than me, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I understand that feeling. Now, couple that with whatever abuse that's going on. You know what I mean? That begins to put on a certain mental, you know what I mean?
And that's something I never thought about, that maybe these kids were just really sheltered and watched over.
Yeah.
And grew up in a very strict household. And like you said, if that's the environment that you're in, you don't know what's outside. Maybe they were homeschooled.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that either.
Yeah.
So in that case, there may not have been a school system to check on them. But yeah, we want to protect our children, but I guess if that was the situation with this story here, that's almost to a fault.
Yeah.
Because these children were possibly so sheltered, so protected, didn't know how to interact with anyone.
Yeah.
And they ended up in a situation where they were by themselves for over 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said before, the fear that they had, you know, the point that she was like, you better not open up that door. Now, we know how mamas can be, you know what I mean? And, you know, don't you answer that door, don't you? I've said those words, not in that context.
She took this to the extreme.
But that's my point. She was in such a whole nother extreme. It's like, what in the world happened that turned? Okay, so I did hear that the father did some type of, you know, request for the kids, saying that she wasn't stable enough before all of this happened, and nothing ever, you know, came of.
I thought of something too, because the kids, or this story was a family that was in Detroit. And I don't know if you've been to Detroit lately. Depending on where you live, there's a lot of abandoned houses.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
So didn't see any pictures about, you know, what the neighborhood or something looked like, but that could have been another factor in it as well.
Yeah.
If they were in a neighborhood where there were a lot of abandoned buildings, there's not a lot of people, you know, coming in and out of the neighborhood.
Yes.
That probably made it a little bit easier too for these kids to get missed and for people not to notice. So there's a lot. I'm gonna stay tuned and try to follow up with this story. Obviously, she's in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely. Facing life.
I'm gonna try to follow up on the story, but I would say probably with her, there probably won't even be a trial.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
No right to the fair trial.
Right. You know, she just may plead guilty because at this point, you know.
Unless they, you know, say that it was psychiatric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's the way that they take it. But the problem with that is the rent was being paid.
So that was the other thing. So they were saying that the children's occupied their time by watching TV, playing video games. So she was keeping up with all the bills. She kept the lights on. They would have like Instacart food delivery services. So it lets you know that part of her was thinking, trying to do the best thing.
Yeah.
But then on the left hand, it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. So
what it looks like is, you know what? I had enough of these kids. I'm going to give them their own place, and I'm going to have me a place. I'll take care of them. I'll make sure they got food and the lights and all that, but I ain't got time for these kids. That's how it looks. That's how it sounds. You know what I mean? Again, without knowing all the facts, you know what I mean? All of this is alleged. That's the way it's perceived.
Right.
You know what I mean? And from my understanding, there's pictures of her on Instagram and all these shots. And
that's what I was going to say. She was living a double life.
Platinum and
living a double life.
Yeah.
She left her old life behind with the kids. That was not her life anymore. So, Well, I
So
just pray
sad.
for those kids because they've got a long recovery ahead of them, but they can be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Therapy.
just a lot of therapy. A lot of therapy.
Yes. And I brought up this specifically for By the Fifth because they did a wellness check. And that's how they found out, you know.
Right.
And in this business with wellness checks, you just never know what you're going to find, you know. Now, it's been a long time since I've managed properties. When it comes down to wellness checks, does the managers do that now? Does the maintenance, can the maintenance do it, or
Yeah,
does
so
the police do
things
it?
have changed over the years. It used to be, you could be my neighbor and you could go down to the office and speak with someone or even speak with maintenance and be like, hey, I haven't seen Tico around in a couple of days. And so then someone from the office or from the maintenance team, we would just go in the apartment and check on you. But now there's so many things that have changed. There's so many liabilities.
Yes.
So the best way to handle it is, say if you are a relative, and let's just say you live out of town, and you call down to the residence where your relative lives, and you tell them, hey, I'm concerned, I haven't heard from them, can you guys do a wellness check? What we suggest for those people to do, first call the police and let them know that you need to do a wellness check. And then what would happen is the police would actually come on the property, they would come to the office, and we received a call to check on someone. So then at that point, we would escort the officers to the apartment and open the door, and then they would go in. Yes, so that is the proper way to handle it. So if you do have a loved one and you're concerned, first call the police and let them know that you're concerned. Then contact the property and let them know what's going on. And then we would escort the officers down there. I had a situation where that happened. It was kind of odd, but I appreciate this woman. It was her ex-husband. So they were still friends, they communicated on a daily basis. He was having some health issues. And so she still spoke with him every day. And it was probably on a Monday, she called us and she said, I haven't spoken with Mr. Johnson, since Friday, and that's odd. And she said, I just wanted to let you know, I went ahead and called the police. And I was like, well, thank you. And so the police did arrive on property. Me and my maintenance supervisor, we escorted him up to the apartment. We unlocked the door, and he told both of us, he said, just wait here. So he went in, and when he came out, he was like, he's deceased. And he started making the phone calls that needed to be made.
Okay.
So again, our first responders, they are trained for scenarios like that. Unfortunately, in property management, a lot of us have had those situations where we have found someone that is deceased, but there's not really a whole lot of training for that.
No.
If you're not a first responder. So again, that's the best way to handle it. And again, that protects us as well, right? Because obviously we care about that resident. We don't want anything to happen to our residents, but we also don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we're holding on to that trauma and then we're not able to help the other residents.
Yes.
Right?
That's very good.
So
Very good.
again, it kind of protects everybody from a little bit of trauma. And again, thank you to all of our teachers,
Yes.
all of our first responders, because the things that
Absolutely.
you guys go through and you see every day, there's not enough money in the world to pay you. But again, they're better equipped to deal with those type of situations when it comes to wellness checks.
Very good. And you guys can go back and watch episode, I think it's Death in Apartment 101. And we go into deep talk, and I share about walking in and seeing a double suicide.
Oh, no.
And so seeing that play on your mind is a lot for, like you said, someone who doesn't have training in that. You know what I mean? To see that. And I've seen numerous amounts of those.
Right.
But again, that was before, they started saying, hey, you need to call
Yeah.
people who are trained to do
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So such a valid point
Yeah,
that you brought
and I
up.
would say too, obviously, that's never a situation that we want to walk into.
Right.
But we're going to touch on this a little bit later also, but with the mental health aspect at it as well. You don't know what you could be walking into. Not saying that someone would be waiting there for you purposely,
Yes.
but it could happen.
Oh, yeah.
So again, you as a property manager, you as a leasing professional, a maintenance technician, you don't want to go into a situation where someone could be armed,
Yes.
something like that. And again, it's such a sensitive subject, but let's just say if someone is suicidal. So now I've walked into the apartment, and as soon as I walk in, heaven forbid, they have a gun and they point it at me.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm going to take care of you as well. And again, thank you, first responders.
Right.
But if we have
No, you're right.
our police officers go in, they're better equipped for those type of situations. So again, it's better for everyone. I don't think the police are ever going to say, no, we're not going to go check on this.
Right.
So yeah, you guys, please feel free, reach out to your local authorities if you have someone that you're concerned about.
Yes, that is so good. So good. And, from my perspective and a lot of property managers and, workers, you're touching on a subject that they've probably experienced.
Yeah.
And dealing with their own mental state because of, what they've seen or dealt with. You know what I mean? But like you said, we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're here at 1505 Demonbreun Apartments in downtown Nashville. We're in their music studio, which right now they're getting ready to redo it and put up a grass wall. So it's pretty dope how they have everything in
That's
here.
why the guitar's back there and the piano.
Yeah,
okay, we're in the. I was like, this is cool. Okay, it all makes sense now. Yes, because we are in Music City.
Music City, yeah.
And what Music Circle and Music Row is just right up the street.
Yes,
it makes sense now. Got it. All makes sense.
Yes. So it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
I like it. It's really nice here.
And I'll tell you, their pool here is like halfway up. You know what I mean? So you kind of look over the city, and very nice. Very nice.
Well, y'all, if y'all are looking for a place to live, if you're from Nashville, moving to Nashville, check out 1505 Demonbreun. Yes, it's beautiful.
It really is. So thank you, 1505,
Thank
for
you.
allowing us to be here and shoot from 1505 today. And hopefully we'll get a couple shots that we're able to post online as well.
Sounds good.
Sound good? All right.
The name is Trent, Roger Trent, but you can call me Tico. What's up?